Arnold Classic 2014. One of my favorite guys, the one guy I was hoping to get on before I left. Big fan, Mr. Greg Doucette. Greg, tell us what you're doing out here and how has the weekend been?
Well, it's my first Arnold Classic in 12 years.
Okay. Did you compete?
I've been in forever.
Compete in this one?
No, I haven't competed in 4 years. I'm just meeting fans and just here to watch and do coverage of the shows.
Right.
Just having a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, I invited you on. I wanted to talk a little Wesley Vissers. I know you got to interview him yesterday. Dennis and I got to go to the finals. We had him on a couple weeks ago, and he talked about just how, like, his destiny was to win that show. And obviously we were pulling for him, but, you know, we didn't really think it was going to happen yet, to be honest with you. But we talked about what Classic is and that he fit Classic. And then the big thing, obviously, was his you know, tie to Arnold and how that was, like, the #1 drive in his training. And how he just looks like him. I mean, that's just obvious by the way he poses, and you watch his vintage genetics. Everything is Arnold, right? So I want to get into what Arnold said afterwards, but just the fact that he won that was amazing. And I mean, did you expect that? Did you think he would go in? Because, you know.
I never expected it at all. Even years ago, I never thought he'd actually win any big shows. I didn't see him as having that potential, but it's hard not to cheer for him because he's so passionate for the sport.
And he's so intelligent.
He knows what he's doing. He has the look, and he really researches the sport, and he emulates Arnold. He's always had that as his idol.
Yeah.
And so to see him come here and like kind of prove everybody wrong, including me, that he can do it, I was 100% rooting for him. And this is the first show I'd ever actually seen him in person.
Yeah.
I've only seen photos, and I don't think you can appreciate how good he is until you've seen him in person. Like, some bodies, they don't transfer as well on the internet.
Right.
But when you saw him hit some of those poses, the detail, the size, the symmetry, I was like, this guy is killing it.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't, we had him, we did we actually watched it right here, the pre-judging, and from the second he came out, I mean, obviously Dino was on too. He wasn't off, but Wesley brought just another level, and it's only been a few months since the Olympia, and so he's jumped from, what, 7th or 8th at the Olympia to winning the Arnold, and now, I mean, I'm already seeing videos of him and, you know, Bumstead, like, hey, is he going to overtake Bumstead? And that's going to be the talk, and hey, why not, man? They actually have a different shape, but if you look, it kind of comes down to what you like, but what he brought this week, why not have him against Bumstead? I mean, what do you think?
I think he was so good that he made other people look off. A lot of people are like, oh, these guys are off. I'm like, no, he just had such fullness. I was interviewing, talking to him. He's like, what I did was I saw other guys with the strided glutes, and I said, I need to take it up a level.
Yeah.
And to me, conditioning wins shows. People are so worried about coming in full.
Right.
If you have that much muscle and you're shredded, you're going to look full. Don't worry about being full. Come in peeled. And I think that's the advantage that Classic Physique brings over open bodybuilding. Open, they're chasing size.
Right.
These guys, they only have a certain weight they can be. So they're chasing conditioning and symmetry, and it makes for a much more aesthetic and healthy looking physique.
Absolutely. You know, what was really been difficult for him is he talked about he wanted to be like Arnold, which is actually exactly what he's accomplished, is with a bigger upper body. You know, not small legs, but, you know, the bigger upper body with the legs. And he's kind of like, Zach, man, I got there, but they're not rewarding that because it's not their definition of Classic. So he's like, yeah, I'm trying to get my legs a little bit better, need a little bit, be a little harder in the glutes, which wasn't necessarily Classic, but he did what he needed to win, right? And so, I mean, I think he knows the game now. And I think at the Olympia level, if you had one knock on him, and I think you'll agree, just a little harder from the glutes and hamstrings. And I don't know how much harder he can get, but I guess if you compare him to Dino there, that may be, you know, the one place that Dino had him yesterday, but he had him in back, all the front shots, legs were more strided from the front. So, I mean, I don't know how he can really improve between that much in the Olympian. I know he's doing the Arnold in a couple of weeks as well. Why not, right?
I'm going to be there 2
weeks
from now. Yeah.
Oh, man, awesome. So anyway, he was awesome. The one thing I wanted to touch on and get your take is just the acceptance speech, right? So being, you know, how much that meant to him to finally, you know, have Arnold, and he talked about it on our podcast. If I had Arnold hand me the trophy, like he said, that would be bigger than the Mr. Olympia. So it was, but then, you know, kind of have Arnold say, you know what, you look like Lou Ferrigno. You know, I know that was probably hard for him to swallow a little bit, but, you know, he's such a class act. He was like, yeah, I can see that. But man, I mean, do you think that really maybe took a little bit out of it? Or, I mean, guy, he handled it with such grace and, like, you know, he's just such a humble guy. So I was really like, dude, nice answer right there. And he didn't show that he was disappointed.
I think overall, perhaps compared to saying, hey, you remind me of myself, I mean, that would have just been like, I mean, maybe he would have fainted.
Well, that's what I wanted him to say. That's what everybody wanted, right?
Yeah. But to say Lou, it's like, oh, you got to get it. Like, he's the thick guy. He had a lot of muscle. He's the taller guy. And so Arnold almost sees him as a bigger version of himself.
Okay.
So I think you got to take the compliment out of it rather than the negative.
Okay.
See the glass is half full.
And I think you're right. I think Arnold meant it in that respect.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure he doesn't know Wesley's backstory about
Right.
you are my idol. Like, and so I think, God, if he would have maybe known that backstory, he would have changed what he said. But dude, like I say, Arnold, I mean, Wesley's such a class act. I think he'll take that and keep rolling. But man, good on him. And I love that the class itself continues to evolve, and they're not just rewarding the same bodies every time.
Yes, it's important that it's not just like the guy's going to win based on politics. People think it's politics. Clearly, we saw it was not that.
I mean, he's doing this from Holland. He's from
expectation.
Holland doing this, right? And so, I mean, obviously he has quite a following, but man, I was happy for that guy.
Absolutely. Cheering for him from day one.
Absolutely.
Like, excited to see him win. Didn't expect it, but once you see the best physique, you want that physique to win.
Yeah, and that's what happened, man. So, Greg, thanks for talking that out with me. Big fan of yours. Maybe we can do some content in the fuel, man.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, brother.
Hey guys, Rodney here with Nutrition Wolf. Just want to go over one of our products, Focus Fuel. Focus Fuel is a low stimulant, cognition, and focus products. So if you're looking for something that's low stimulant, if you want to train at night, you don't want a bunch of caffeine in your system before you go train, Focus Fuel is a great product. We have compounds like lion's mane, alpha GPC, and huperzine to enhance memory and cognition, but at the same time give you low levels of caffeine so you're not up all night. What's really also cool about it is we incorporated some nitric oxide compounds in it, like L-citrulline at 6 grams. So if you want something that's gonna give you a really good focus and a really good workout and hydration and pump, Focus Fuel's for you. This is just one of our products. If you'd like to check us out more, check us out at nutritionwolf.com or check us out on social media.